Okay, welcome everybody to Saratoga Whiskey Club tasting number 176. We're 2 days late for St. Patrick's Day, but that doesn't matter. All it needs to be is a Wednesday for us to drink Wednesday whiskey, it seems like. So um,
It's St. Patrick's Day week.
there's Tony. I should have waited like 1 minute. I knew it, but it was okay. Over here, over here. Every year we've done an Irish whiskey celebration around St. Patrick's Day. This year is no different. It's always a little bit of a challenge because there are a lot of Irish whiskeys in the world, but we've tasted actually a lot of the ones that come into the United States. Some of them, are great to have at bars, but it's pretty hard to find some fun, different, unique Irish whiskey sometimes. We are starting to see that change a little bit, which is nice. They're definitely going through quite a revolution over there with distilleries opening, and we're looking forward to going there in September and visiting some of these newer distilleries. But I am also hearing about some of the larger distilleries slowing down, like we are seeing in other parts of the world as well. Middleton, which is the largest or one of the largest or top two, top three producers in Ireland, they actually stopped production at this point until the summer. So they're taking off like 3 months, which for a distillery as big as they are, it's pretty wild that they're doing that. But we're seeing that across the board. Everybody's taking a little bit of a breather. Not to talk too much Scotch, but Lafroig announced a new silent season today or yesterday. So there's a lot of changes going on right now with production. So a little bit hard to come by new Irish whiskeys, but I think we found some really fun ones for tonight. And we are starting to see some newer brands. Some people have known Croethley, which was a brand that we've had in the shop now for a while. We're not doing any of those tonight. Those are single malts because we've done those in other tastings as well. But that's kind of an example of one of the newer distilleries that's come to the US recently. That's really pretty solid. And the second one is our first whiskey of the night, actually, from J.J. Corry. I'm going to read a little bit about them because this one and the Killowen, the fourth whiskey, are probably the only ones that we've really never done in a tasting before. We've done Teeling and Redbreast and High and Wicked, but we've never really done a J.J. Corry or Killowen. So I am going to read a little bit about J.J. Corry because it's actually a really interesting story, and I think we're going to actually see quite a bit going forward from them. So it's good to know a little bit about their background. But I'm going to read this, so just bear with me. Everybody can hear me pretty well online?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, good. So here we go. While browsing in an antique shop in Kilrush, a small port town just a few miles from Curraclare, Louise McGuane came across an empty vintage whiskey bottle that advertised mature Irish whiskey, bonded and carefully bottled by J.J. Corry. Clorsh, County Clare. With some research, Louise was able to track the history of the Victorian merchant to his local shop, established in 1890, that sold tea, ammunition, musical instruments, and among other things, bonded whiskey. Louise was inspired to research Ireland's history of bonding, and her resulting efforts to revitalize the category would come to bear the historical J.J. Corry name. Louise founded J.J. Corry in 2013 as the only solo female founder of an Irish whiskey brand. She has harnessed years of experience in the spirits industry, spearheading marketing and development initiatives for global brands such as Moët Hennessy, Pernod Ricard, and Diageo into creating J.J. Corry in her birthplace of County Clare. Here on her family's farm in Curraclare, Louise has established a purpose-built rack house to take advantage of the temperature fluctuation of County Clare's section of the Wild Atlantic Way, the cliff-studded and wind-whipped coastline that runs along Ireland's western border creating a salty and humid microclimate tailor-made for dynamic whiskey aging. In the J.J. Corry Rackhouse, casks hand-picked from wineries, distilleries, and coopers around the world are filled on site with mostly commissioned new make and some Irish whiskey with previous age. These maturing spirits are then categorized by flavor profile into a carefully curated flavor library that allows Luis's team to strategically blend fruit-forward whiskeys of varying batch sizes for continuous, limited, and private bottlings. J.J. Corry was the first licensed whiskey bonder in Ireland in over 50 years, and the first licensed whiskey producer in County Clare in over 100 years. Championing collaboration and transparency while bottling complex yet approachable blends, Luis and her team have revived tradition while unflinchingly representing the contemporary Irish whiskey landscape. So she, over the last 12 years, has really developed a name for herself by her blending skills. She's not distilling whiskey. This is all about buying barrels, filling some of them with new mixed spirit, and then also buying some whiskey that's already been aged. Obviously, this one being a 21-year-old whiskey is definitely not something that she bought without some age on it. This one happens to be called the Flintlock number 5. It is a 21-year-old ex-bourbon finished in Fino cask release. There were 1,200 bottles of this. It is bottled at 46%. This is the spring 2024.
I'm sorry, which percent?
46%.
Thank you.
We're starting with a lower proof.
Yep.
So I'll read a little bit about this whiskey. It says here, the Flintlock is a blend of 6 specifically selected single malt casks from our flavor library, showcasing our independence as a whiskey bonder during the Irish whiskey revival. We already read some of that. With each cask, we chose each cask for its unique properties, with the youngest age 21 years, blending them to embody our signature juicy, fruity style. Finally, marrying the flavors in a Fino sherry butt adds complexity and imparts a rich, grape-like and floral character to the whiskey.
Charles?
Yeah.
So Ireland does not make a distinction between a single malt and a blended malt. They're calling this a, she said a blend, but it's also
these are all
called a single.
malts. These are all so blended. It doesn't, yeah, they don't, it doesn't say blended. It would be a blended malt if it was coming from different distilleries. So this is all from one distillery.
Oh, it's blending all from the same distillery.
Yeah.
It's all Bushmills.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay, thank you.
It's all Bushmills. Okay.
So Shalom probably looked that up. I hadn't looked that up yet, but
You.
Shalom doesn't have to look it up. He knows.
did it say, did you find that it was Bushmill, Shalom?
It says it on your website.
Oh, all right. There you go. Holly looked it up.
I looked it up at firstfillspirits.com.
That's even better.
Gotta be true.
It's beautiful.
I don't write the notes on the website. Actually, here's Holly. We can all give her credit for that. She's about to join us here.
And by the way, this makes the a special bottling for the Dead Rabbit and the Irish Exit a year ago to
Oh, okay.
gas station.
Oh, down in the city.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, they've got.
So we are seeing more J.J. Corry now come into the U.S. We actually carry one that's called the Gale. We've carried that now for a little while, kind of right behind us. And then there are some other expressions too, but we thought it would be fun to bring in the 21 year for this special tasting. The 21 year goes for $215.99, so this isn't a cheap bottle by any means, but yeah.
Yeah, I see that. As I looked over, I'm like, is that two?
Not a bad way to start.
Interesting that they said that the 21 year is the youngest of what they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. It definitely has that Bushmills taste to it. Malty and yeasty with lots of creamy vanilla. It's higher proof than most Bushmills, though. It's at 46 instead of the normal 40.
I haven't had Bushman in a while.
Definitely has some of that fruit note.
Yeah.
For sure.
Lots of fruit, pears.
Pears.
Pears,
Yes.
orchard fruit.
Orchard fruit, pears, some spice, mild.
I love the nose.
There's a bit of citrus going on there
I'm trying to
too.
figure out what that nose is, but I don't
Yeah.
know.
On the finish, a little.
Well, there's
orange.
definitely like I'm getting lemon,
Yeah.
Yeah.
definitely citrus, maybe even like
Yeah, it
some
was the first thing I saw.
fresh
There's a little
kiwi
citrus
almost.
or a lemon or a.
To me, I'm getting a lot of fresh bread, fresh baked bread on the nose.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now as it sits there, I'm getting that.
The yeasty, yeah.
From Irish whiskeys. As it sits, it's developing more, so I'm gonna go back to this.
It's light
Yeah.
in a way. I mean, it does have some body, but it just kind of tastes light, I guess. That's not so much the mouthfeel, but the taste. Holly, do you know any more like info on her? I read the history of Louise, but what is she really known for? Like, I mean, she's really popular, obviously. She's got kind of a cult following in a way. I know Charlie has done stuff with her and the Drammers, and what is she kind of like known for besides obviously the blends that she produces?
I mean, I think she was kind of the pioneer of blending. You have two stacks now, and hey. You have two stacks now.
Yeah, but it is too.
But she's kind of the one that brought back, she's been around a long time. So she's really kind of built up her reputation for being a bottler. But it's the history that it's attached to as well. J.J. Corry is an old brand that she brought back to life. And it was a full team of women, when she started it. They were blenders, the sales team. It was, she was the one kind of bringing it back, that during the days of just Bushmills, Cooley, and Middleton. Dingle was probably around, but she was the pioneer of kind of bringing the blending back into the mix of things.
Yeah.
Or what she called, bonder.
Bonder.
She's a bonder.
That's the first time I've ever heard that before.
So I'm still a little confused. So J.J. Corry is an old distiller, but she's an independent bottler using J.J. Corry as her name.
Well, J.J. Corry was a bonder as well back in the day. He wasn't making whiskey, he was buying barrels.
Oh, okay. So that was the history of J.J. Corry also.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is bonding in Ireland? Different from bottled and bond in the US, I imagine.
Bonder is a person.
Yeah, I think it's more of that's what they call people who are buying casks and storing them, themselves. I'm not sure if it's a bonded warehouse like we have the regulation here.
It's just the Irish, like old Irish term for, I don't know my own distillery. I just blend and bottle. So it'd be like the same as like not
An
quite
independent
bottler,
bottler.
but like barrel bourbon, or like where they're just they have warehouses of stock and they're making all these blends.
Okay. An independent bottler, that's how you say it in Brooklyn, sorry, bottler, is someone who's buying casks and then bottling them, but not necessarily blending anything. So a
Right,
blender is different from an independent bottler.
It's a weird line that moves. They're both bottlers, but an independent bottler typically will boast the distillery. So they will buy other people's whiskey and will tell you on the label, be very upfront about where it came from.
If they're allowed to.
Independent bottlers a lot of times make their own blends too, so they would act more like a J.J. Corry. So I wouldn't call J.J. Corry an independent bottler. I would just call her a blender and bottler.
Yeah,
There's no legal definition. That's Holly's definition.
And And Holly has a new docuseries out, so and you all should watch it. It's called Independent Spirit.
Anything that's Holly's definition, take with a grain of salt.
Great whiskey.
I was just gonna say, or a single grain.
What do you guys think?
How do we access Holly's?
Oh, we can put a link in the chat.
Or.
Yeah, let me see if I can do that real quick because it's I don't know how to do that actually. If you go onto the Water of Life.
Oh, I can get the link.
Yeah, you can get the link. Yeah, you guys should really watch it. You can rent it. It's $4.99 to rent, and it's 4 episodes, 30 minutes. And First Fill Spirits is in there quite a bit with Holly talking about independent bottlers, and it's pretty amazing.
It's not just her. It's a series.
It's like all of the legends in whiskey, mostly Scotland, and Holly. It's pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds redundant to me.
Oh,
No, it's pretty awesome. Actually, Adam and Nora from Lost Lantern are in it a little bit because they do talk about independent bottlers in other countries as well. So
set something out about that.
yeah, so it's in the chat. We'll send it out. Yeah.
You could put it on the notes for the video on the
Yeah, I can do that too. Yeah.
But I've given this one that we're like clear.
I think you should get on camera and show it.
I'm excited for this.
All right, so we're gonna move on to Redbreast. So Redbreast is a pot still Irish whiskey, single pot still. So when we talk pot still, some people don't maybe know this, but it's not necessarily the copper stills that they're talking about. It's more of the recipe of the grains. And whenever you see a single pot still Irish whiskey, we know it's a percentage of malted and unmalted barley, which goes back to tax regulations back in the 19th century, and the Irish decided to pay less taxes and not malt all their barley, and in effect created a new style of whiskey, which happens to be a really delicious style of whiskey. And Redbreast is very famous for that. A lot of the brands now are bringing back pot still Irish whiskey. So, Dingle, Teeling, lots of them are doing pot still. Even some of the younger brands that are starting up are going back and finding old recipes, from 150 years ago and trying to revive them under the pot still style. Now Redbreast comes out with these different editions. So I thought this would be fun. We haven't done this one before. This is called the Missouri Oak Edition. This is finished in casks of American oak that are sourced from the Ozarks, the Ozark Mountains or forests of Missouri. This is 101 proof, so 50.5% ABV. On the side here, it says, watched over by Master Blender Emeritus Billy Layton and Master Blender David McCabe. Redbreast Missouri Oak Edition is a single pot still Irish whiskey, triple distilled and matured first in American bourbon barrels and Spanish Oloroso sherry butts before being recast and aged for 10 months in virgin casks made from oak sourced from the Ozark forests of Missouri. So that's where you get the style of this.
Does virgin imply toasted or not? Or does it have any, you don't know what sort of fire it's seen?
Typically it would be just a new charred barrel. It wouldn't be toasted. It would just be charred, but it would probably say toasted if it was toasted.
Okay, but virgin just means
new charred.
Irish for new barrel, new charred. Okay.
It hasn't held whiskey prior.
Mm-hmm.
What's the Japanese?
Wow, this is delicious.
I thought when
Holy cow. The nose is nice. The palate is really wonderful.
Yeah, this is good.
Uh-oh.
Where can you buy this, Charles?
Almost like a cinnamon kind of note to it a little bit. We can actually bring this in if people are really interested. We can order some bottles and bring this in. I only brought in one because I wanted us to have it for the tasting. I didn't really want to have a bunch of this on the shelf without knowing what it tasted like. But
What's the cost?
I knew somebody was going to ask that. Let me take a look and see if I can pull it up real quick.
Is there any is it like the Redbreast 12 that they then put in this, or?
Well, this isn't an age, there's no age statement on this, so we don't know how old the whiskey is. We just know it's finished for 10 months.
Yeah, it's their juice, but we just don't know how long.
Redbreast 12 is my go-to, understandable.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is so smooth. This is the kind of thing you can just drink all night. I mean, it just
Like the
goes
Redbreast,
down so easy. It's even though it's 101 ABV, it's just so lovely, and the flavors, the cinnamon and the all the background, everything. It's lovely.
Yeah, the palate is really full-bodied and rich. I mean, it's like dark caramel. It's
You
like
can
a
get caramel and
cheese.
chocolate and yeah, like cocoa and then there's some peppermint coming at the end. It does everything you want it to do, I think.
so this isn't cheap, I'll tell you that.
Nothing is.
Uh-oh.
Hold on, I'll give you the price.
Pricier than I'm used to for Irish whiskey.
Lots of spice, very spicy.
Yeah, it's $200 bottle,
Okay.
$199.99. So
Honestly, I'd rather rest 18-year-old.
Well, at $200, maybe you're not going to drink it all night.
Well, you go to dinner, give me a break, you're gonna spend.
Maybe on your birthday.
Depends who's
paying.
Charles, is that before or after tariffs?
Oh, ouch.
Ooh.
going there, we're not going there.
Yeah, it'll be 600 with the tariffs.
We're
We're
trying
buying it tonight, yes.
celebrating St. Patrick's Day. We're not going to get all into that tonight.
I was gonna bring Italian pastries tonight at the same.
Oh, we got soda bread, right?
All right, fair enough.
Soda bread.
And raisin bagel with butter on it, I love it.
Daughters who's baking.
Okay.
Why not? You want to be muted?
Some woman.
Delicious.
Or we can, I can get a plate.
United States. My mother. Oh. No.
Please.
No.
I usually, mine, I don't use raisins.
I still get that spice, that Teeling pot still spice in the middle of the palate with all that like toffee, cocoa sweetness from the new oak. It's interesting. It's a true American Irish riff.
You don't ask someone for that.
Vinny made soda bread, so
United States.
I had to get a plate and a knife.
Oh,
So we can
okay.
prepare some.
Now, $200 is a little bit more than the usual Redbreasts. I mean, I know some of them are up there, but or the Middleton or whatever.
I mean, the 12-year cash strength, or the 12-year in general, let me pull it up here, I have it right here.
Very natural.
They're not $200, right?
That's like $90.
Mm.
Well,
Somewhere around that. The 15-year is 140, 150, somewhere in that range. So this is quite a bit more than the 12 and the 15 years.
I don't remember, Charles, was there an age statement or not?
No, no age statement.
Okay. And I get another point. Okay, anyway. Sorry. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, the cash strength is close to 125, 130.
Oh,
Oh.
all right.
Cash.
Not to disturb your lineup, but this would be fun to try next to the Teeling Virgin Oak.
Yeah, that's true.
Uh-oh.
But that's later on. Maybe
Uh-oh.
leave a tiny bit in your glass and then when we get to that
Now
Teeling.
you tell us.
Is the Teeling a pot still or a single malt?
That's true. It is a single malt. So it is different.
Because the cinnamon spice stuff is what I'm getting, is that's the pot still impact.
Yeah.
Ah,
So the next whiskey, actually, it would be kind of fun to taste it next to the next whiskey. Because we're next, if you still have some, the next whiskey is from Teeling. And Teeling does this Wonders of Wood series, which is really fun. And we've actually done one or two in tastings before. We did a Portuguese oak, I believe, and maybe one other. But for those of you who don't know Teeling, was started in Dublin. First distillery to start in Dublin in like 100 years. They started in 2015. They are owned by Bacardi. Yeah, actually over 125 years, first distillery. And let's see, you know, a lot of it was established by Jack and Stephen Teeling, whose father, John Teeling, founded Cooley in 1987, which is one of the big producers of whiskey in Ireland. It's located in the famous Liberties area in Dublin, which is where a lot of the previous distilleries were based. And the symbol of Teeling is a phoenix rising from a pot still, which symbolizes the reestablishment of the Teeling whiskey brand. But we really love Teeling. Teeling's been a really great newer distillery in Ireland. And again, we're talking about this new kind of series called the Wonders of Wood. This one is 50% ABV, so very close to what the Redbreast was, just one proof off. This one is, however, matured in virgin Swedish oak. So we have virgin Missouri oak or American oak, or a type of American oak. And now we have this Teeling Wonders of Wood that's finished in virgin Swedish oak. Let me see if I can get a little bit more information for you here.
I like the color.
Is the Swedish oak a blonde wood?
You know, I can remove people from this Zoom.
Go ahead. I want to see you get rid of me and leave hand.
Mute his microphone.
Let me just tell you a little bit about this whiskey.
oh my God.
This is the third edition of the Wonders of Wood. It is a single pot still. The recipe is 50% malted and 50% unmalted, so right in half. Triple distilled in Dublin, fully matured in virgin Swedish oak casks. In partnership with the Tree Council in Ireland, each release in the Wonders of Wood series will help to plant exclusively native Irish tree species in our very own designated acre of land in Ireland. See if it says anything about Sweden, where it comes from. I mean, it's just Swedish oak, so we don't really know.
Is there an age on this?
It's used for whiskey maturing previous, so it's not like Macmyra or any of the.
Is there an age on this?
There's no age statement on this. No.
What's the ABV?
50%.
Oh, to the Facebook, to the.
50%. Malted, unmalted, and 50%.
We've had some really cool Glenelg Swedish oaks. I don't know if anyone on here has ever grabbed one of those, but those were really good too. Those are the only two Swedish oak I've seen, Glenelg and Teeling.
Huh. It's actually pretty nice. It doesn't have the spice that the Redbreast has, but
It goes fast.
it has a nice sweetness to it though.
It's a lot oakier though. It seems a lot more wood notes.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Okay, Anne's agreeing with you. I get more sort of like a honey type.
Yeah, I'm getting that too, Peter.
Honey, and I get perfume.
Yeah, well, I'm getting some floral stuff.
Floral, yeah, perfumed floral. It's interesting. I'd like to know what we need an evening where we just get to learn about different trees. You know, it wouldn't be a tasting, but it would learn about the different trees and the different oaks and the different cooperages to see how the oak is and
What
you
we
know, how
could
they
do is we could bring in some bark and we could just chew on it. And
Thank
see
you.
what happens.
And everybody's not going to applaud me for my restraint if I don't tell you that I'm not going to say anything about, we could just go out and hug them.
We could go hug them and see which one we like the best. You know.
So Charles, you have the ability to disable other people from speaking. Does anybody have the ability to disable you?
But so, okay,
no,
now
seriously, no,
now,
because
folks.
I know like
Actually,
they
I'm
have a lot
logged
of that
in as
wood.
Charles
It's
number
different.
2, so I could disable Charles.
But, you know, I'm just really curious about the different types of oaks. You know, we get the from the north west up in Oregon and
The Gariana?
the Gariana, and we have the Japanese oak, and there are so many different oaks that we taste. And I'd like to know the difference between. I mean, I taste the difference, but I'd like to know about the growth of the trees and.
Yeah, maybe we could do that. We could get somebody online who's an arborist that knows all this stuff.
Yeah, I think that would be fascinating to see how it would change anything that would come in
I have
contact.
a good idea. We'll send him a kit of cask strength, the highest proof cask strength whiskey, and he has to drink each bottle as he describes each tree.
I love it.
See what happens after like 3 or 4 trees.
And you need to get some other hobbies.
They use
All right.
maple at all? They never use.
Yeah, there's maple.
Yeah.
Not a good one to use though.
I would think it wouldn't be, because doesn't it have like sugars and
Well,
stuff?
Arctic tasting? Oh man,
Yeah.
rare peppermint tree.
We really have a negative impact on.
Oh, you can control it. It's gonna be super.
All right, I'm gonna just quick. I bet Redbreast. Who's Redbreast and who's Teeling on these 2 pot stills?
Redbreast.
Redbreast.
Oh,
Redbreast.
Redbreast,
Red-
if price is no.
Redbreast.
Oh, what was the price on the Teeling? Do we know?
I do know.
I would take the Swedish out of it.
Oh, I know.
These Teelings aren't that much. The Wonders of Wood, which is nice. So they're at least affordable. So the Wonders of Wood. Okay, that's Portuguese. Okay, it looks like the Swedish one's not available anymore, but the Portuguese one, I mean, we're talking close, like right around $100. So half the price of the Redbreast.
I was thinking probably about 100 a quarter. Okay,
It's actually maybe just a little less than $100.
I'd like to be a full member.
So. All right.
Yeah.
The first 2?
Yeah, it's hard to follow.
Yeah, all right, so we're gonna take a real left turn. We're now leaving pot still territory. Am I going too fast?
No.
Can we slow down? No.
Like the name, it's one Raisin.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let me read a little bit about Killowen, because that's the other one that is new to a lot of people. Killowen is really having a kind of surge in cult status. There's a lot of we don't get a lot of Killowen here in the States at this point, but what they're making is very small quantity and it's very craft but very good. We've actually had some single casks sent to the shop that they wanted us to buy and sell, but they were really small bottles. I believe they were like 200 mLs or something. They were really small, or maybe 370. No, they were less than 375, but they wanted to charge like $80 a bottle. It was a lot. So we kind of passed on it, but the whiskey was really good. All right, so here's a little bit on Killowen. Located in the Mourne Mountains of County Down, which I believe is north of Dublin, not too far north, maybe an hour or two. Killowen Distillery, launched in 2017 by Brendan Carty, Liam Brogan, and Shane McCarthy, is located halfway between Belfast and Dublin. Seated at the base of the Knockshee, which means fairy mountain, with a view that slopes down to the sea, this small distillery's maritime climate places a unique fingerprint on the spirits distilled and aged there. While Killowen has yet to release whiskey that has been distilled on its own artisan pot stills, beyond a benchmark how do you say it? Why am I
Poutine?
Poutine, Jesus. Beyond a benchmark poutine released in the US in 2022. The distillery currently celebrates the storied tradition of Irish bonding, which is the practice of sourcing spirits from various Irish distilleries and independently blending, maturing, and bottling the resulting unique expressions. All right, so I have had some stuff off of their pot still. It's not here in the US. It's still too young and too small quantity, but what they're making is really, really special. This one, however, let's see here, bonded. So this is bonded. This is not something that they made themselves. Bonded and bottled at cask strength. They call this edition the Rum and Raisin. It is finished in both Pedro Jimenez sherry and dark rum casks. So you have that rum and raisin contrast. So you should have notes of coconut, vanilla, figs, prunes, and raisins. This is 55% ABV, so 110 proof.
Charles, when you say bonded, so it's not bottled by the distillery, it's bottled by.
No, it's bottled by them.
Okay, now I'm real confused, but that's okay. I'll just.
It's sourced, yeah, it's not their own barrels.
Ah.
Yeah. This is 100% single malt. After aging in bourbon, it's divided and finished in Killowen's own dark rum casks and PX sherry butts. It's distilled in Louth. So whatever big distillery is in Louth, I'm not sure, but
That Great Northern?
it could be, yeah. I have not tasted this, so I'm not really sure what it's gonna be like.
So there's
Any hint of an age statement on that?
No, there's no age statement on this either.
Killowen distills its own.
Yeah, they are also making their own.
Sources, both.
It's just not out yet. Yeah, it's not ready yet.
Oh, okay.
Getting a little black liquor.
Very
And this is one that we might be able to get more of. Holly, this is Southern, right?
Yeah, we can get more. This is their first larger bottle release.
Yeah, so all of the previous ones were really small bottles. This wasn't too expensive either, right? This was fairly reasonable.
I'll put it in the chat. I'll look it up.
Okay.
It's a little floral and really fruity.
Yeah.
The nose is a little funky, I think, from the barrels, but
That's what I like about it.
Yeah, but it also doesn't drink as hot as 55%.
it's pretty tasty.
Yeah. I like it.
Pretty good. I love the finish.
Yeah.
The finish kind of keeps going.
Yeah. I was saying the rum. I mean, I love drinking really good high-end rum, and this, because of that rum flavoring, it's got
Yeah,
like a finish to it.
Yeah.
Very nice.
yeah. It doesn't, the finish doesn't overtake it by any means, but it adds a really nice balance, I believe. Hard to get that on the nose, though. That kind of fusel funk is coming through more than anything for me.
But with the raisin taste that I get, I would use that as a dessert wine, risky. You know, it's like a finishing type of thing.
That's the name for a good dessert, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like chocolate with raisins and nuts. That would be great.
An orange Tootsie.
An orange. Yeah,
Tootsie
big
Roll.
orange. Wow. Yeah, just got it. I'll be making chocolate tonight, everybody.
He makes one with Pete.
It's delicious.
How much was this one, Charles?
$70. $69.99.
Yeah, 69.99. So pretty
Oh,
good,
not bad.
pretty good price.
Very good.
Mhm.
And we can get more of this, I believe.
Mhm.
So if anybody's, well, we probably will bring it in now that we've tasted it too.
Right.
Yeah, Tony was wondering what this would taste like if it was peated malt. Peated Irish single malt.
This is exciting because everything new from Ireland is not from them, which is fine. You know, we're still waiting. This is actually a new distillery, you know, in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So you've got Two Stacks, Corry, Silky. Those are, you know, here's what we have while we wait.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of, they're all sourced from Great Northern or Cooley. So it's different.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's promising.
Mhm. Do they source their pot still and single malt? What are the, when you're sourcing from Great Northern, what do you get it as?
Whatever you want. You can actually go right on their website. They say, what do you want? You want it made out of corn, wheat, pot still style, single malt, triple distilled, double distilled.
Will they just deliver to Clifton Park?
If you meet the MOQ, I'm sure they will.
They actually do have a peated version of this.
Really?
Yeah, Tony.
Really?
Wow.
Whoa.
But I don't know if we can get that.
Wow.
What were you saying about poachine? Was that related to this? I had to look it up because I thought you were talking about like mushrooms, and then I kind of couldn't focus on what you actually were saying.
Like
Poachine is new make spirit from Ireland.
But that has nothing to do with what we're drinking right now with this one.
That's-
Okay, you're just saying that
That's
this.
technically released, that's their own in the US, is their poutine.
Okay.
Which is again, just clear moonshine, basically. New make.
Has nothing to do with mushrooms.
No,
Poachine.
no, that's porcine.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun.
Nor the French Canadian poutine.
Yeah, so poutine.
Poutine.
Yeah, it's not poutine either. There's no gravy on the fries.
Or
How good the Glen
Don't forget the cheese curds.
Never forget that, Rich.
Writing this down, Beth Ann.
I was trying to figure out how to spell poutine, but I don't.
It's
P-O-O-P-O-T-C-H-E-E-N.
No, I think it's POICIN or something like that.
poutine.
P-O-I-T-I-N. Yeah? Yeah, okay.
It's similar to
It's
moonshine in that they both were originally
You know that.
they were both illegal, and now that they're being,
Alcohol poisoning.
you can buy a tax-paid bottle of this stuff. It's not quite the same.
Ring the bell, and that was the dead man ringer.
Oh. That's scary.
Sweet poutine from Ireland Green. The lyric in a song.
Poutine is pretty wild, though. It's not like moonshine. It was made out of, it's such a broad word. It was made out of whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
It was just whatever you wanted, just not barrel aged.
alcohol.
Could be grass. I don't know.
Well, not barrel aged and not paid anything to the revenuer. That's I think the key.
Oh,
Clear liquid.
Rocks and potatoes. Sorry. Okay.
It looks like that.
Okay.
Thanks.
Enough words with friends.
Running out of glasses.
We're going to move on to another Teeling. This is a single malt, so not the pot still that we had earlier. When Holly and I were in Indiana in January, we went to a liquor store there that, oh shoot, I can't, Big Red? I think it's called Big Red. But they own like the majority of liquor stores in Indiana. It's like a monopoly now. But actually, the one in Bloomington, where Indiana University is, was pretty nice. They had a pretty solid whiskey shelf. A lot of American, obviously, some stuff that we don't get here in New York. Some stuff from Indiana and Kentucky that we don't get here. But their Scotch and their Irish section wasn't too bad either. And I was kind of perusing and I saw this single cask Teeling and I was like, oh wow, that's kind of cool. This one is actually hand selected by, holy moly, I can't even see what this is. Bourbon World. I think it says World. Yeah, it's hand selected by Bourbon World. I have no idea who they are. Probably a club or something. But this is a single cask that I bought in Indiana. It is 59.2%. So we're almost to 60% ABV, which is pretty wild. This one is matured in virgin American oak. So now we're going back to virgin American oak. So new charred oak here from the US. It doesn't say where. So we don't know if it's the Ozarks. And this is single malt. So there's not much more I know about this, other than it's from Bourbon World. It's Teeling without an age statement on it, and it's super high proof virgin American oak maturation.
And what was the price on this one?
This one wasn't too bad. I believe I paid around $80, $80 to $90, somewhere in that range.
It's nice, but it has a little extra taste.
You have to go out to Indiana and get it.
And this is also a non-age statement, right?
Yes, non-age statement, correct.
No.
There is a cask number. It's cask number 12206.
It is part of it.
What's interesting to me is that a lot of the Irish, Scottish, whatever distilleries were buying American ex-bourbon because bourbon makers couldn't use them anymore, and one use, and so they were much cheaper. But now this is the second one we've had, which is a virgin, an unused oak, which has to be lots more expensive. So rather than recharring it or whatever, since they're not required by law to use a new one.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Typically, you'll find virgin oak, whether it's from the US or other countries, used as a finishing barrel, not necessarily as a primary barrel. So it's, because as we know in bourbon, it takes over. We get a lot of vanilla and caramel and all the notes that come out of a virgin American oak barrel. With that corn, it comes forward very quickly. So typically it's just used for finishing, just to add something to it. But we're starting to see a little bit of that change, with some Scotch brands also maturing for a very short time. Actually, Shalom, am I correct in the Octomore that we had that we really enjoyed was a virgin American oak that was only 3 years old, right? That was,
yeah. I mean, most of the Octomores are like 5 or 6, but we had one that was 3 that was really delicious.
Yeah, that was virgin American oak. But had it been 4 or 5 years,
it probably would have been too oaky.
Yeah.
So we're not sure what this age is, but I have a feeling it's probably not too old. It's probably in the range of 4 years, I would assume, but
So when they're selling it there, it's less.
So I do have a question about how long has this been, was this a triple distilled? Typical of Ireland, or is this, yeah?
yeah, Teeling triple distills their single malt.
Is anybody else getting pine needles on the nose on this one?
Yeah, it definitely has a little bit more
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, absolutely.
pine note to it.
Yeah, Brad.
Very good, yeah. Pine. Almost reminds me of having a martini, but anyway, it's it has a lot of that dryness, and I think the oak is doing it. I think that virgin oak is
Sure.
putting it in.
Yeah.
Now, Anne just asked me a question, and I have to admit I've forgotten everything I knew. But the definition in Ireland is the same as in Scotland, I guess US now. A single malt, if it says malt, it has to be 100% malted barley?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
A suggestion here is to add a drop or two of water to this.
Yeah.
If you still have some. Oh, and it's also interesting to think that this was picked by Bourbon World. I mean, it does have more of those bourbon kind of notes, right? Because it's new charred American barrel.
This one.
It really does. It's like a scotch with bourbon notes.
It
Very
is,
interesting.
The palate really, the vanilla really comes out with the water in there too.
right. Thank you. Yeah, that made just total difference on this. Wow. So good.
Actually, I think it makes it better.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, I find this to be like extremely like syrupy.
Yeah.
And there's like a flavor that like I've experienced with like other things before and I don't know what it is. And if I could figure it out, then I would know. But there's like a certain flavor I'm coming or like palette in this that I'm like, oh, I've had this before and I don't know what it is.
Anne, I have a question. At what point are you gonna light the candles on the hat?
Hey, lit already?
Pete is pretty lit already, so it's okay.
Actually, a fuse.
Yeah.
Don't give her any ideas.
Actually, I enjoy this a lot with the water. It's
Excellent.
Yeah.
completely changed.
Hey, Charles, an unrelated question, but since we're talking about Indiana, Rich was telling me, are you doing a hard truth barrel?
No, we haven't.
Oh, you haven't pulled the trigger on that.
Yeah, we haven't pulled the trigger on that. They would love for us to do one, but
I was in Bloomington about a month or so ago, and I had some of the hard truth bourbons. I had a wheated one in particular that I found really tasty. I liked it.
we are in May doing a seminar with them when I'm back from all my travels. But yeah, Holly and I haven't arranged anything in terms of a barrel yet or anything.
Too much vermouth.
I mean, we would like to. Actually, we've done really well. We brought in so far. We sold out of a bunch of stuff that we brought in already. So there's definitely a demand for their products.
Mhm.
And we really enjoyed the visit. It was pretty amazing. So, and they were very nice to us.
What is it? What?
Hard Truth. They're right out of Bloomington. Yeah, they're about 20 minutes.
Bloomington.
Yeah, it's a great distillery. All right, so we're gonna wrap up with a little bit of High and Wicked. So
We're going so fast.
High and Wicked, they have these shaped bottles. We've had these now. They do primarily Irish and American releases.
Getting myself another glass.
But we've had some bourbon from them. The Judge, which was a pretty popular one that we had, an older whiskey. But we've had other ones, other Irish as well. There's the Foursquare. There is the shoot, I can't remember all the names. There's a bunch. The Aeneas Coffee release that we've done in tastings. But this was one that we hadn't brought in yet, and we figured we'd bring it in for this tasting. This is what they call the Rose Tattoo.
Which is an Irish song, by the way.
It is an Irish song. That's right. I was just at the Parting Glass a couple days ago, and the band there was playing the what's the rock Irish band? The famous Dropkick Murphys version of the Rose Tattoo, which was pretty great. This is a single malt as well, so we're doing a lot of single malt here to wrap up. This is finished in ex-Amarone barrels, wine casks. This one is 59.9%, so just short of 60%. 1,000 cases, so quite a bit of volume on this one. Double cask matured. Let me see what else. 100% Irish malted mash bill. Origin County Carlow. Locally sourced malt, triple distilled, copper pot, blah, 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 blah. First fill ex bourbon, then finish in ex Amarone wine cask from Familia Pasqua for 8 months. I'm reading this here in a circle.
You're doing a good job.
Yeah, so yeah, there you go. So this is no age statement, but we know it's 8 months in Amarone casks to finish. This is a single malt. It's probably, again, either Cooley or Great Northern. I doubt it's Bushmills. But we do have this now.
Charles, if it's distilled in Carlow, it's not Bushmills or Cooley.
Where's Carlow located?
Carlow's down in the southern part. It's either Powers Court or what's the one we went to the first time we went to that had it got bought out. It was this couple that had a distillery and then it got bought by somebody else. They make the Irishman.
Yeah.
It's not
Irishman.
Where Ryder Sears was made.
Yeah. Those guys, they're in Carlow.
Yeah, it could be made there.
Howard?
It was the White Oak Distillery.
Yeah, White Oak is the one that's in Carlow.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's possible. Could be them. You're not loving it? Lucas is not loving it. Just so you know.
Nice spice to
It does. I
Well,
Get a little water.
I feel like it's
Water
I feel like it's got a taste of wine. The barrel.
The taste of wine.
think it's,
I taste the. I don't taste like wine, but I taste the barrel coming.
So you want to taste the barrel.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole point
Yeah.
of this. And it actually has a very sweet kind of rose note to it, in a way.
Yeah, it's small.
Very creamy.
Creamy, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually don't mind it. I think it's actually pretty nice. For
Yeah,
almost,
I'm enjoying it too.
it doesn't come
It
off
doesn't-
that hot.
Blow you away, no.
no, you wouldn't know this, that's 60%. No,
Dangerous.
yeah, very dangerous. I actually like it.
You know, you might end up with a rose tattoo if you drink this
at the end of the night.
at the end of the night.
Not as far as you know.
Maybe that's why they named it that. Yeah.
I think this would go really good with whatever dessert Ann is making.
Yeah.
This could be one to add a little
I
water.
believe it's ice cream. You can come over now. We do have leftover pizza too.
Where's cake?
It all
Who's
works.
Kate?
You know, the one thing about tasting high proof whiskeys, there's this, you know, general trend to the higher the proof, the better, whatever. I mean, that's not really the case. I mean,
No.
yes, you're getting straight out of the barrel, whatever, that's all fantastic. But there's truly nothing wrong with adding water to your whiskey.
Mhm.
Yeah, correct.
You know, it's you make it how you like it, right? So add some water to this, see what it's like. You know, hopefully it improves it. It might not, but this comes off very soft for almost 60%, but maybe water makes it different.
It's
I just added a few drops. It does, I like it. It brings out some of the flavors and softens it a little.
But Charles, on the topic of tasting high proof whiskeys, I want to commend everybody who's in the shop because it is much quieter than usual on these Zooms.
It's just me.
Yeah.
No, I'm just,
My son-in-law is not there tonight. I'm just going to tell you.
We put Vinny in the bathroom.
I put a muzzle on Vinny tonight, so.
I'm still tired from his trip.
I'm still tired.
Yeah, Vinny's on Scotland time, so we're
Oh, you guys just got back. Yes, yes.
I'm still bleeding. When I cut myself today, it smelled like Glenturret.
He said he cut himself today by accident and smelled like Glen Turret. So we had a really good time. It was really
Wonderful, wonderful.
Did you go?
Oh yeah, this is really good with water.
Yeah. Excellent.
It's changed it, yeah. It got a little bit better for me.
Yeah, I like it better. As
I
well.
liked it before, but the water does.
Oh, you liked it before?
The water,
I'm still stuck with the raisins in my mouth. Everything tastes like raisins now.
I'll talk more than that.
Yeah, everything still tastes like raisins since we had that raisin drink. It's just like, it's still,
Well, there's definitely a raisin note on this though too.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Actually, when I added water, I almost felt like I picked up a little bit of pine, which is interesting.
I agree. I do taste that too from the whatever. No, I know. It's ex bourbon and ex Amarone.
All right, so we're gonna do a little. I know Shalom already put in the chat room his order of preference, but Shalom doesn't count. So don't really believe what Shalom's palate thinks anymore. You know, he can win the calendar, but that doesn't mean anything. So, all right, so I'm just going to do the room here first, just to see what top two. We'll do top two. We don't need to do all. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
I think so.
You guys think top two? Vinny?
that one cheaper.
And I would say the Killowen.
Wow. So for Vinny, it was the JJ Corry and the Killowen.
That was like
1 and 2. All
I
right.
really like that too. That was like 23.
Redbreast and Teeling Swedish Oak for Nick. So we're definitely
I like this one
water.
and I like this one.
Picks here. What about
Killowen?
Redbreast was my top.
Redbreast?
And it's a tough choice between the Corry and the Killowen.
Corry and Killowen, tough choice for number 2. So Redbreast right now is pretty high up on the list. What about you, Lucas?
I did, the WoW and the
Wow, Teeling Swedish Oak for Lucas and the Redbreast number 2. How about you, Jeff?
I had the Redbreast followed by the Killowen.
Redbreast, Killowen. Audrey?
I
like this.
Fresh JJ Corry. Tony?
Killowen and Redbreast.
Killowen, number 1, and Redbreast, number 2. Wow. All right, so very different, everybody, which is great. That means that the bourbon world so far doesn't know what they're doing. And High and Wicked had some work to do as well. All right, so online we've got Shalom like the Redbreast, JJ Corry. All right, BJ like Redbreast and Teeling Swedish Oak. Dave Tobias like Redbreast and the High and Wicked. All right, we have a High and Wicked. There we go.
Which I wouldn't discount that.
I wouldn't discount it either. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, if you want to put down right, where do you write?
Speak it. We'll write it down for you.
Hear it.
Okay, so for us,
Yep.
Redbreast, Missouri Oak first.
All right, Redbreast.
And the Teeling Wow next.
All right, Teeling Swedish Oak. I'm surprised that did so well. That's really great. All right, we got Larry. Holly. Sarah. We have Redbreast and Teeling Swedish Oak. Holly, Teeling Virgin Oak. Oh my goodness. There's always an outlier.
Wait, we
It's got to be Holly. She's really a bourbon fan. That's what it all comes down to.
I like the Redbreast and Killowen.
She calls herself a Scotch person, but she's really a bourbon at heart. But all right, Teeling and Killowen.
Redbreast and the Killowen, and Peter like the.
I've narrowed it down to everything except for the High and Wicked and the JJ Corry.
Okay, all right.
So you like all the other
Beth
four?
Ann, JJ Corry. Wow, which is great. I'm really glad we started with the JJ Corry.
I
If
didn't
we
like
had
it.
done that
So
later on, it
if
would.
if you're really pushing me to make 2 out of those 4, but you're not, so I'll be quiet.
Yeah, and this was a great tasting, Charles, because all of them were delicious and
Yes.
each was unique.
They were definitely different.
Yes, they were.
The one thing I don't really know, but one of the reasons for luring Sarah in here is every time, besides all the other good things about this, for every advent calendar, she says, well, I don't really understand Irish whiskey. So we figured this would help her understand Irish whiskey. And if it's based on anything like my experience, it's not helping.
I felt like a lot of these, like the Redbreast and the Teeling, the single cask, they, to me, I would have said that they were bourbon. I would never have said that they were Irish.
Yeah.
I love, Beth Ann, how have your notebook there and
I
you
do.
and Holly.
The power of oak, right? I mean,
It
that's
really
the-
is. I think that's probably what it is, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And just to help show them on Beth Ann's side, we did not see her run down to the basement, throw this through any sort of chemical analyzer.
No, Beth Ann's a true
It's
superstar.
great.
We all know
It's
that.
great.
She just took a break. She'll be back in force. We know that. So it's all good.
Advent calendar.
Well, I had a little conversation with her when she was in the shop the other day because she
right.
actually was, other than 4 days, she was like the high score for the rest of the calendar last year. And I thought she maybe had a cold. And I asked her about that. And then her daughter was there and her daughter said, yeah, I think we were all sick that week.
Yeah. It's funny because I
So-
was looking back at my notes and a lot of these at around that time I wrote that I did not like them at all. So I don't know if I just didn't know what they were or what. I think I was probably winging it. But I
Because
think
you outscored the rest of us aside for those 4 or 5 nights in that 1 week.
I didn't think I did great at all, but maybe because I was so far behind from that week. I said there's no way I'm picking up. Finally, Shalom can win.
Only Shalom would know those statistics too.
That's what I said. I walked in and said, how do you have all these stats? This is great. I love it.
He sits there for hours every day analyzing.
He's like Rain Man. How
Rain
many
Man.
toothpicks? How many toothpicks?
That's what retirement does to you.
Yeah. Now, I can't remember because that's a symptom of something. But Megan, Eric, and BJ, have you done the calendars? The Advent? I don't think you guys
We did
have.
this past year, and the way I identified Irish is it's probably my least favorite ones that aren't hitting any other notes that feel familiar.
No, it was more about just drinking every night with everybody. But
Oh yes, that too.
The problem with Irish is, you have all these single malts.
Right. Yes.
Who knows where a single malt's from, right? I mean,
Yeah.
It could be
Yeah.
from Scotland, and then, they got the grains from across the sea, and they're just distilling them.
But thank you, Rich, for bringing this back to some whatever level. An Irish single malt is probably only double distilled, not triple.
No, most of them
No,
are
triple.
Are they still triple distilled?
only Waterford really is double distilling as far as.
And Waterford
Okay.
is no longer.
No, they were just actually purchased, so
Who
they're
were they?
whiskey, yeah.
Oh, okay, great.
Just to throw it out there, not, pushing it at all, but we have a great Irish whiskey trip in
We
September.
know about it. Yes, Sarah's laughing.
And selfishly, Charles and I chose all of these newer distilleries. So we're going to the north.
It's actually amazing to see all.
Killowen, yeah, we're gonna go see. So I'm actually super pumped because Ireland has been slow to kind of push through what's new, and there's a lot going on there. So it's kind of like Japan where you have to go there to actually see what's going on right now.
Nice vehicle, really comfortable.
Second question is.
Great. Yeah, nice vehicle.
Is it? Okay. Well, we'll need to discuss this
Yeah,
with our
nice leather
health
seats. That's
advisor.
all that matters.
Question is,
No, it should be great. I can't wait. It's gonna be fun. So, and there's still space. There's still space. So.
Thank you. Okay. We
All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap up the online so I can take care of all my in-person folks, and
Thank you so much.
we will
Thank
see you on the other side of the planet.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Happy birthday, Peter.
Thanks, Charles.
Happy birthday,
It's my
Peter.
birthday. Oh my.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Peter.
birthday.
Night.
Thank you guys for remembering.